Good morning. Welcome to the webinar Do More with Celestix Zero Trust platform, InstaSafe. My name is Miguel Llerena. I'm the Vice President of Channels and Alliances at Celestix Networks. First and most, I want to thank you for dedicating your time today to listen to us. And I would also like to thank Persona 360 for allowing us to leverage their webinar series platform today. We are delighted to have you with us this morning and giving us your time to learn more about our InstaSafe Zero Trust platform. In this webinar, we will explore Celestix Networks, InstaSafe Zero Trust platform with the hand of our very best Majid Munir, Senior Director, Consultant, Cybersecurity at Celestix Networks. So get ready to discover InstaSafe. Majid, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Miguel. Before I start, could you just confirm if you can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Miguel. Hi, everybody. My name is Majid. I will be presenting the InstaSafe demo to the webinar today. So we have planned this event as I will run through some slides in the start, and then we will show you, we will have a walk around of the product, what product actually offers in terms of different use cases. So InstaSafe is a platform which basically provide multi-factor authentication, also zero trust network access and application access. So on the slides, you can see some achievements. The Gartner has given InstaSafe a representative vendor in ZTNA category. Along with, you can see they also got high performer in G2 grid for ZTNA category in 2024. And you can also see some companies mentioned there as well, who are also partner of InstaSafe. So multi-factor authentication, just to give you a little bit of a background, you may have already heard of this one. So when we talk about multi-factor authentication, we are looking at three things: what you have, what you know, and what you are. So these are the only three primary factors on which all the authentication factors are built, and we will use them, and we will see which factor is stronger than the other, and that's how the multi-factor authentication is evolving nowadays. And now we have now we are moving towards passwordless authentications now, where obviously the passwords are not considered secure, which is something you have. So then we have within the different MFA methods, we can the InstaSafe support different variety of multi-factor authentication factors here. We can use a OTP, one-time password, which is available via the app. So we have our own authenticator app, like you may have seen some other vendors who are basically providing their authenticator app, through which you can basically scan a code, and then that code will start generating a 6-digit number, which you can use every now and then on a demand basis. So that OTP can be sent out as an SMS or email base. Obviously for SMS, it will incur some cost, and that would require some additional subscriptions. But it is freely available on the OTP app, so you can generate it, and you can basically receive as a push notification via Authenticator app. And this is also time-based. We can also have a mobile PIN, which is also a feature of the app. This can also be utilized for providing as an additional factor. Then we also support biometrics. So if you have a biometric feature available on your desktop, laptop, or on your mobile devices or tablets, we can, with the InstaSafe, can leverage all these methods. A push notification, as I said, it is available on the app. So the app will receive a push notification depending on different use cases. Then also we support hardware tokens, which are basically under available under FIDO, which is a fast identity online, FIDO 2. So one of them is a UB key. So if you have UB keys, you want to protect your logins, you want to protect any workflow with the UB key, we can support our product can allow you to basically register these hardware tokens as an additional factor. Then we have different capabilities of the product. So this is another important slide which will explain what InstaSafe can offer. So InstaSafe can integrate with different applications. As you can see here, it can be VPN, like you have seen Cisco, FortiGate, Checkpoint, Microsoft. So any other VPN, we can also replace a VPN. Now, traditional VPNs are not considered secure nowadays because that's where it is subject to different attacks. VPNs, once it's established, then there's no further check. So that's why, on the principle of zero trust, our solution basically is based on zero trust, which means we always verify, never trust any request. Any time a user requests an application, although they may have done that before, they have attempted or they have already accessed the application before, but every time they try to access anything through our InstaSafe infrastructure, it will be subject to never trust, always verify principle. So that's why we can offer the same capabilities as you normally have with a traditional VPN, but with the zero trust approach. Then we are the InstaSafe also is capable with the FIDO, so we can offer two categories under passwordless authentication mechanisms. So one is a FIDO, so it could be a FIDO compliant key or in the form of digital certificate authentication. So these are the two categories which are available under passwordless authentication. Then we can also offer within the FIDO stroke web auth, which is another protocol. We can offer three capabilities. So you can use your Windows Hello capabilities. If it's a Windows device and you want to integrate your Windows Hello, we can use that with our platform. It could be any hardware security key, or it could be a passkey as well, which are also very common. So these are all available under FIDO stroke web authentication capabilities. We are also offering Windows login, and we can also protect an RDP session. So whether you have a MFA, whether you have a Windows endpoint or you have a Linux, we are also working towards integrating the same feature for the Mac, but that is not fully developed. But right now we have a solution whereby we can literally install a small agent on a Linux or a Windows endpoint, and we can and through that you could basically use our solution to basically add an external or extra MFA layer. So these are the capabilities through which we pretty much cover everything. So we also provide MFA capabilities to network-based applications. So literally, if you think of the OSA reference model, anything from layer 4 to layer 7, we can protect with our MFA. And these are few of our salient features which you probably not see with other providers, because we could just give you an example. We could protect a client server application which may be just purely your a customer own in-house built application which doesn't have these advanced capabilities. We can protect that app through our platform, zero trust platform, which means you literally protect your SSH, your telnet, your file shares, your network protocols, anything which is a protocol base. We can basically protect that through our solution. So these are really good features which we have developed, and they are still in demand, especially when customers still using those applications. Then we have the platform support. The solution, the InstaSafe support, directory-wise, it can support on-premise Azure, whether you have Active Directory on-premise, you have an Azure AD you want to integrate with, or Open LDAP or Google Workspace. These are the different repository through which you can basically bring your users into our solution, and we can integrate very well. We also have the identity and authentication options as well. So we can utilize SAML, we can utilize auth, we can utilize radius, and we also support if you have a non-SAML application, because in order for an application to work, the application needs to be SAML aware, and then we can perform the integration with the application. But if you don't have the SAML ready, then we can come and we can support. Then we can protect a SaaS, any SaaS-based application you have in the cloud. We can protect those application. We can protect on-premise application by way of, like, you are familiar, you might have already been doing like reverse proxy, using a reverse proxy basically, and basically protecting your applications behind your company firewall. Or it could be a RDP. We can publish an RDP and you literally just click on a link on a browser, and basically it will open the RDP. We can also publish a file share. So here you can see, so this is on the principle of zero trust, where basically we are basically giving access to an application rather than on a network. And we also have other use cases as well, like domain joining use cases. We can connect, we can join an offline, remote device to which is considered as an offline join. These are the capabilities we also offer. We also have device posturing, through which if you basically install our agent, so the agent has the capabilities to provide a device posture checks, and through that agent you can basically control a lot of posture. You can control whether the Windows is a genuine device, whether you can check for any specific updates. You can perform a geofence. You can perform a complete blocking based on a country level. You can also check based on virus. I mean, these are all capabilities which I will try to explain when we go on the product demo. We have a built-in Chromium secure browser, which basically allows you to perform. So basically, as we nowadays, all these modern browsers are subject to certain attacks. So we have developed a Chromium based on the open source Chromium browser, built-in browser through our agent, through which basically you can protect your web application from all the known attacks, and also basically you can control certain capabilities, like you can block a recording screen, you can block copying, pasting, and all these things, and you can basically block any drive-bys and anything which basically any pop-ups or any of these things which normally gets installed or gets easily available via standard browser. So that's why we say it's an enterprise browser which is available through our agent. In terms of deployment, it can be, the solution is available as a SaaS in the cloud offering over AWS, but we can offer on as if there is a requirement to just have it on a customer premises, set up on a customer premises, so it can be available as on-premise or cloud or hybrid. We also offer client and client-less on endpoint side as well, so these are also options available. We have certain use cases here. As you can see, you can protect your web application with our MFA. We can also protect Linux and Windows endpoint. We can protect network shares, firewall switches through our MFA. So these are different use cases which you are seeing right now. We can also protect MFA, whether it's ADFS, LDAP, or if simply passwordless authentication you want to achieve. These are different use cases InstaSafe can offer. This is just the overall solution picture, where you can see that we have a controller in the middle, and that is basically what you will control through your tenant. You will be given your own tenant URL, which is you be dedicated to your own configuration, and then we have a InstaSafe gateway. So the gateway is a small Linux version of an application which will run as a virtual machine. Whether you have, this is the way which we communicate with your resources, whether you have on premise, whether you have in the cloud. So we will ask you to install our gateway closest to wherever your applications resides, and that's how basically we communicate with your applications, and we control and we will implement different access. We have the controller in the middle who basically perform policy authorization and authentication. So I'm just conscious of the time, so that's I'm just trying to just to give you just a little bit of an overview. But if you have any questions, we can answer them on a separate event. So I'm just gonna take you to the product now. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask after the demo. So I'm just gonna go to our product now. So we have a second, just in my slide here. Yes. Okay, I hope you can see the screen again. Right, so this is the actual dashboard. Now here you can see from an admin perspective, you can see if there are any login from different. So this is a globe total word view where you can see from where different users are logging in. So you have the like a bird eye view where you can see what's going on, and you can see at a glance if there are any issues. You can also see any failures, any attempts. So this is just whenever you log in, you can see last five login failures even as well, or you can basically customize the way you want to customize. Right, then we have, so the solution is basically there are 5 steps. So if I explain these 5 steps, that will explain that what does it take to basically set up the solution. So first of all, we need to set up users. So whether we create users manually or we import users from an Active Directory or from an open LDAP. Once we have done that, then the next step is to basically define an application. Like the customer or the user wants to access an application, so we will basically publish an application. We will then create a policy. Now, once the application, you have multiple applications, you configure multiple application, and then you basically configure a policy. Policy is where you will define who will access what application and what is the level. Okay, so we will do all the authorization enforcement under the policy creation, and once the policy is ready, then we can publish that application which we have created via a gateway. And that is, the gateway is only required if you are publishing something which is protected behind a network, or this is your private application somewhere in the cloud, it's not available on the globe, then we have to communicate to that application via a gateway. And these are the steps to basically set up an application. So here we can see we have some users here already. You can see the source here. Some users are Active Directory based. That's why the AD stands for, and some are just local. So here we can see different users, and we can see their users information. We can see their email, their group membership, devices. We can even control which device they come from. So you have the control. You can block them from logging from certain places. So this is the policy. This user belongs to Celestix UK policy. We can also have endpoint configuration if we need to. And under configuration, we can see if that user has registered a passkey or it has any. We can even set up a geolocation as well, and we can have further under action. We can perform certain. We can enable, disable certain features as well here as well. So this is just a user here. Similarly, we have a group. We create a group. So rather than implementing or giving access on a user level, we'd rather use a group and basically grant access based on a group. Then we have an authentication profile. Now, once the user group is created, then we need an authentication profile. Now, authentication profile is through which we enforce how many factors do we require. So we have a global policy. So here we can see a global policy. So under global policy, we are saying you can set a different requirement for primary authentication. You can say, okay, the user must have a password or a SAML configuration or a AD. If it's just purely AD under primary, or under secondary, we can enable OTP or web auth, which is literally just a FIDO or passkey, or you can only enable one at a time from the secondary. And then at the moment, because it's a demo account, so we are basically, because we need to do multiple use cases, so that's why we kept the secondary open. And then under configuration, we can have a different requirement as well. Even under filter chain, I can do a whitelisting, so I can say block this authentication if it's coming from and I can specify my company or my own IP that from where I know I want to allow, or I can basically blocklist certain IPs as well. So this is also another control through which basically we can control a user access at the policy level. Now here we can see we have some exclusions. So under exclusions, what we have done some further. So globally, the policy is quite open, but here I can see I have a primary authentication for an AD user as AD, and then secondary, I have an OTP. So where you can see that if this user is trying to log in, then that user will be subject to these different authentication. So I'm just going to demonstrate a normal login. So this is a demo account. So I'm just logging out and logging back in. So this is the login I'm using at the back is a different one. That is a administrator login, and you have a different view. And here I am just logging in as a standard user, and here you should see a different different view. So here we can see is asking me for an OTP because I've set OTP for that as a secondary, as an exception. So I have just opened my app and I'm just typing in my reading and typing in my OTP, and I clicked on this one. I could also receive that OTP via email. Now here you can see this is a user view, and I'm only able to see the application which are published. So here I have logged in once. Anything which has been published for my username based on the level of access I should have, I have access to. So these are just some example applications. So here literally just we published a Celestix website, let's say. So if I click on it, it will open a Celestix website on a new tab. Now it will not require me to resubmit my credential, which means I also have the SSO capabilities. So if I click on this application, which is a SAML-based application, you can see in the background they are performing handshake and they are exchanging all the information, and I will just literally watch and it will log me into my Okta tenant using that account. Okay, so you can see it's basically performing some retracts, and then eventually it will log me into my Okta workspace, which it has. So you can see I've logged in. I didn't type type my username and password. I only authenticated once. So this is basically this is basically my SSO capabilities. So that's why you see that here. This is an RDP application, which is literally allow me to access RDP over web. I'm just going to click on this one, and it will prompt me for username and password, but it won't work because it requires me to log in with the same username which the machine has. So I only set this up recently, so that's why I didn't have this. 1 second, I didn't have the MFA user one, so it's probably going to fail. But this is just to show you that this is how it will work. But this is how it's just giving me unauthorized, which is expected because I have to log in as as the same user as this one. But I've logged in as demo. But I've only published this application for demoing only. But once the user logs in and that username is on that virtual machine, then it will be just a single click. So you can see with a single click, you can basically access all these applications. So this is a user what how the user will basically interact and access all the published applications. One more use case I wanna demonstrate before it's too before the time expires. So this is a virtual machine here. As you can see, I am literally just trying to log in with the password, and I have this agent installed. So as you can see, the credential provider is InstaSafe. So if I click this one, then it should prompt me for the OTP. It will ask me to enter the OTP I can get this OTP via email, or I can literally just enter the 6-digit code, which I am just reading now, 4928, and then I click submit. And then it should log me in. So you can see I've logged into my device using the MFA capabilities of the InstaSafe, and this is a little agent which we have installed on this virtual machine. The same capabilities are also available over an RDP. So if I click on RDP session from here, this is just a link to go log into the same machine but via an RDP session. Then you should see here I have the same capabilities here. I can just click password and it will ask me again to provide that OTP. And I am now typing in the OTP here, 394843, and then click submit, and then it will validate, and this is basically protecting an RDP session. So this is another use case which is very common nowadays, and also has a lot of demands. So here on the demo account, I can show you how we can register further factors. So here you can see I have already registered a passkey. I can do the same thing again. If you have a UB hardware key, you will plug that into your device and you literally click on register. Depending on the capabilities of your device, it will tell you how whether it's a hardware key or it's a passkey. Okay, it will literally just prompt you for that. But because I've already got one, so I'm not just going to do that. So, and here you can configure your second factor, the authenticator app, and you can even reset this one, but we have done that already. So you will literally, this is like a self-service portal as well for a user, so the user can come and basically can register these things as well. And here literally they can go and they can download all the agents as we have other capabilities as well. So you can also download an agent, which is literally an agent through which, this is what we have seen so far here. This is a client-less approach where you are only accessing our solution and all your published apps via a browser, which is a client-less. But if you want to basically utilize the other platform capabilities, then you can basically utilize it based on the agent. A few more use cases, if the time permits, I want to show you here. So if I go here and then I can access my policy, and I can go here and I can simply, this is a demo policy. So if I go here and I can say, let's say I want to add a rule, and I am saying that only allow, I am saying, so you see, I have all these features here. So if I say geofence, and if I'm saying if I am not in, I have done a geofencing, which is just a reading. So I've just done that, and then @celestix.com, and then why it just kicked me out. Let's see, demo policy. I can go there and I can have a rule, and I can say geofence. Geofence, and if I'm not in, Reading is a place in the UK, and I've just clicked this one. Now if I go here and if I click refresh, then you should see here nothing, because my location from where I'm logged in is not in the Reading. So that's why it removed my access straight away. So you can see you can achieve all these capabilities as well. And in the configuration, you can literally basically define all that configuration. As you can see, I have a San Francisco as well. So if I look on the record, I can basically pinpoint an area which I just wanna geofence, and you can basically have that capability there built into that. So the platform offered a lot of data sets which we can configure. As you can see, there's some of them here, like antivirus. You can have country codes. You can basically configure with the plus sign. You can configure all these data sets, and you can basically implement these data sets via the access policy, and then you can basically achieve certain requirement. One use case I've just demonstrated. So that brings us to the end of the demo. I tried to cover what I was trying to, but I think that there's still a lot of things I couldn't cover, but we can arrange them on a separate call if need be. So I'm just going to hand this back to Miguel now. Thanks for joining the call today.
Thank you so much, Majid, for the presentation. Very detailed. I hope everyone has the opportunity to see at least some of the features. Obviously, the platform is very powerful, has a lot of features. So we will have to, if you're interested, and I hope so, you are, we will have to set up another call and go into more detail. We have time for just maybe a couple of questions. I see there's a whole bunch of questions, but let me take 3 questions that I think are very important. One is coming from Brazil, and he's asking if we have channel partners or resellers in Brazil. Yes, we do. Please send me an email, and you can see on the screen is miguel@celestix.com, and I can put you in contact with our few partners we have in Brazil. Another question is, how do you license this platform? It is licensed per user, so it depends, how many users, and if you need any additional modules to be updated. Again, we can go over pricing if you send me an email. And let's see here, we are looking at Zscaler private access. That's InstaSafe competes or compares to private access, Zscaler access. It does very well. Actually, we have a document that compares the 2 solutions. So please, just send me an email, and I will forward you the document. Okay. Unfortunately, we got to the time. We don't want to take too much of your time. We appreciate your participation in this webinar, and I want to thank again, Majid, for this excellent presentation, and Persona 360 for allowing us to use their webinar series platform. So again, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Bye.